ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
I would say, obviously, I would express my sincere appreciation, gratitude to the rulers of the UAE.
Welcome everyone to your favorite program, Pearls of Union. Our inspiring guests have moved from the darkness of challenges to the light of success. Our inspiring guests have set a title for success and ambition. And our special guest for today is Mr. Ahsan Chishty, and he is the founder and the CEO of MA Consultancy. Welcome, Mr.
Thank you to Mr. Rama and this wonderful introduction. I'd like to extend my appreciation to Pearls of Union and Sama TV for inviting me for this exclusive interview.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I'm so pleased to meet you today.
Thank you. Pleasure is equally mine.
So please, sir, in the beginning, can you tell us about yourself, about your background, about your career journey and the significant milestones you have achieved?
So I was born and raised in the United Kingdom. I did my education also in the United Kingdom, and I was working in the automotive business for around, now in total of 30 years, but I spent 20 years in the United Kingdom, and I had a unique opportunity to come to the Middle East, and I've been now in the Middle East for around 10 years, around 6-7 years in Bahrain, and latterly for the last few years I've been, post-COVID, I've been in Dubai. So the journey has been very interesting, lots of challenges as you can appreciate and imagine. And when I decided around 2 years ago that I didn't want to work in the corporate environment for somebody, I took a very bold move to set up my own business. And I decided that I wanted to do that in Dubai because I felt as an international city and as a hub which welcomes business people regardless of age, as long as you have passion and commitment and the desire to succeed, I thought this was the perfect place. So there was many challenges along the way, as you can appreciate. First of all, coming into a new market and trying to establish my business position and also the services and the support that I can offer to multiple businesses, not only in the UAE, but also in the Gulf region. And the market is also very competitive. So I spent a long time preparing my profile, establishing my company, and also then setting up my website and different things. So this was the foundation of the start of the journey. Exactly. Then from there, I started to do a lot of networking, meeting different people. Some of that was very successful. Some of it was just, you just made friends, which is great living in the UAE. It's always amazing to make new friends and building a network. As the journey started to progress, what I found was by good business communication, understanding people's challenges, utilizing my skill set and my experience, that we could start to collaborate and work on different projects. In transparency, the first few projects, I didn't charge any money. Actually, it was for me just to share with my experiences and see how I could help them to transform their business, to take their business to another step. A lot of businesses in Dubai, they're international businesses. They deliver world-class service. They deliver world-class experiences. And Dubai has become the international benchmark across all business channels. Doesn't matter whether it's in retail or business to business or even in the food industry, the level of service that we receive here, we are so spoiled. And then when you are trying to improve on that and make that slightly better, and then engaging with customers or consumers in the way that they want to be engaged, those are milestone changes. And you move away from what we believe in the Arab world, a traditional business style, to then really understanding each individual customer and each individual company's challenge on how they can improve their business. So it's been really great fun. It's been immense learning cycle. And obviously moving away from a traditional working environment where you're getting a salary and you're working Sunday to Thursday and then obviously Monday to Friday, and taking the risk and having self-belief and confidence. I have to be honest with you, it was one of the best things I ever did in my life.
Yeah, exactly. To leave the comfort zone and to start your own business. So these are the main challenges that you have faced while building and growing your company.
Correct.
Yeah, and who have supported you along the way to overcome these challenges?
Without sounding like I'm being emotional, I would say, first of all, my wife, because you need a really strong partner in your life who gives you the courage to make such a bold transition. My family, of course, and then without question, the people I do business with. And, you know, they've really understood about what I want to do to try and help them to improve their business. Dubai generally now in business is all about marginal gain. You know, the time has gone where you're making really big margins and everybody's fighting for small percentages. And as business operators, sometimes what can happen is that you actually don't understand where your journey needs to move to. It's like being in a car and you can see a road and you need to just turn a little bit right and you just don't know that you need to turn right and you just carry on going. So this is where I come in, and what I can do is I can evaluate the business and in many verticals, looking at the business environment, looking at the culture of the people, looking at the business processes, and then also looking at the financial aspect of the business, and then breaking those down, and seeing how we can improve all of those by small percentages. So you can take 8 or 10 verticals in a business, and if you can add 2% growth on each one of those verticals, including in people empowerment, which is so important. You know, your team is your strength or your weakness. And if you're working in a big retail environment, if people are having a bad day and they have a bad experience with a customer, most likely the customer's not going to return. So, you know, just trying to understand the influence and the power of people and the impact they have on improving your business. So I generally work across those different verticals and I look at marginal gains on every single one of those verticals. Or if the client specifically says, I have this particular issue and I want you to focus on that, then I'm happy to do that and work with them. For me, it's not always about the financial reward. For me, it's about the retention of the client long term, and also to see the satisfaction and the elation they have when they start seeing the results. Because it's not like you know, something that you do today and tomorrow you'll get the result. These are some short-term strategies, a lot of mid-term strategies, and an exponential amount of long-term strategies. And this is what gives the business long-term sustainability. And that's where I really pride myself. If I can see someone who I touched maybe 2 or 3 years ago and I see that their career has progressed and they've grown with the company, that for me is the most proudest moment that I can have.
You know, sir, that every successful venture starts with a clear vision and a strong foundation. So how was your company founded and what vision led to its establishment?
If I can just tell you a small story. So I remember coming home from my previous employment, and I'd been in a discussion with some people a few days before, and they said something very interesting to me. And it was a business meeting, and one of the colleagues that I was with, he said to me, "Ahsan, you're in the wrong field." And I thought to myself, well, what does that mean? And I didn't pursue this conversation any further. I left it alone, and then a few days later I started to think, so I called him. I said, what does this mean? He said, you know, your expertise is, yes, it's about operating a business and running a business for somebody else, of course, because I was an employee. And actually he said to me, he said, I firmly believe that actually you should take your skill set and share it with others. So there was a lot of thinking and reflecting, and you know, to be honest, at some stage I thought, okay, that's not what I want to do. I actually thought maybe I'd work with somebody for a period of time before I retire. And then my wife said to me, when I was having exactly the same conversation, she said to me, she said, you know something, I think you should do this. So I said, okay. I made a very brave decision, and I moved away from the comfort of being in employment to going into self-employment. So that was really the birth of the idea. Then as we moved, we then decided on obviously where we wanted to be as a hub, and for sure the best city for business is Dubai. And being in the UAE, it's the best, not only in terms of the people and the culture and obviously the leadership here, but also as an international city. You have a huge mix of expatriates and obviously local Emiratis, and they're all receptive to learn. So I made that decision with my wife's support, of course, and we came to Dubai, and we then started thinking, okay, we now need to register a company. Okay, how do we do that? And that experience was amazing. We went to the Amr office, to the DED cafe, which I don't know any country in the world where you can have a cup of coffee and register a company. The people in the office were so friendly. We exchanged WhatsApp numbers. They did everything for me. Obviously, we went through the formal process. Literally within 2 hours, we had our commercial registration, and 2 days later, we had our Emirates residency ID. So that also reconfirmed that this is the place, because in many countries to set up a business, especially as an expatriate, as not being a native or a passport holder of that country, the process is very difficult. But here it was so easy. And then we then started thinking, okay, we need to have obviously the vision was to make the UAE our center of a focus for our business, and then also work in the wider Gulf countries where we felt it was appropriate logistically, and also from experience perspective, business experience perspective, to start working in there. So we started the process, and everything was done very, very quickly. Before we knew it, in 48 hours, we were residents in Dubai, and we had our own company, and then we thought, okay, now we need to start doing some business. And then we started obviously doing networking and talking to different people, and slowly the doors started to open. I'm not going to say it was easy. There's a lot of pressure on anybody. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you're going to come away from a secure employment, yielding a really good salary and a package, and then you're going to go completely on your own and start a business from zero. So, but it was the best decision I ever made, to be honest, and I really enjoy it.
So you choose Dubai for your life, for your work, and what are the main services that you are providing today in your company?
So we're an automotive business consultancy. We have our offices on Sheikh Zayed Road.
Yeah.
And what we focus on is really on business excellence. We look at operational excellence. We look at people excellence, financial excellence. Yeah. We look at training and development. we look at transformation, we look at digitization, we look at innovation.
Great.
And we look at what's working from a marketing point of view. We look at how people recruit people from a HR perspective. Are they making the right decisions? And realistically, are they building the right foundations for the mid and the long term? So we look at all of these kind of things. And I think the best way I would describe it, what we look at is business transformation. That would be, if that was my slogan, which it's not, but business transformation is exactly what we are experts in. And as I said, we've yielded a lot of great results in the very short time of the past 2 years, working with amazing clients here in Dubai and also in the Gulf region.
Of course, sir, you have your future goals. So what do you aspire to, and what specific goals do you aim to achieve? So
as an individual who's always looking to grow, I want for MA Consultancy to be a pioneer in many aspects of the business that we're already running. I think I would like to grow the team that I have, and obviously recruiting local talent here as well, because there's a lot of young generation coming up. And also I think I would like to be able to be in a position where I can take my business to an international level. And I have a timeline for that. I think over the next 2 years, with the expansion plans that we already have in place, I think we can achieve that realistically within the next 2 years. I think we could be an international company on markets that we really want to be in.
Sir, as you know, success is often marked by significant milestones and impactful contributions. So what are the key achievements you are most proud of at your company?
I would say the impact that we've had on people. And not so much in terms of the business, because the business is always the winner. But I would say the impact that we've had on people, the number of people that we've managed to sit with who feel that they have failed, okay, and they don't know what is going to be the next step and how they can improve. And you take someone who's highly experienced, and they're dealing with a scenario where the business is changing and the market is changing and the market dynamics are changing, and that person feels a little bit lost in terms of how they will transform themselves to deal with what's going on around them. And the number of people who we've touched in a really positive way, and they'll call me afterwards and they say, Mr. Ahsan, do you know, I didn't think of this. Oh, Mr. Ahsan, that's what you told me to do is exactly, and it's working. Those for me are the biggest wins. Ultimately, I want our partners and the people that we work with, I always want them to win from a growth and from a financial point of view. But my biggest recognition is when I get recognition from the people that I've engaged with and they feel that I've added something to their life. Because in my career, so many people touched me at different times, and when I wasn't winning and I felt that I was going to lose, someone came along, they put their hand on my back and said, just think about this. And you think, and then all of a sudden your mind opens up and then you start doing something completely different. So for me, it's always about people.
And how does your company ensure adherence to local and international regulations?
So for us, obviously, we follow all of the regulations within the UAE and obviously in Dubai. We have an internal individual who's responsible for ensuring that all of our compliance is taken care of. Actually, this morning, we just renewed our license, our commercial license, which was, again, a really easy process. From an international point of view, obviously, primarily we're working within the Gulf countries, and the laws and regulations are very similar. The only elements would be related to taxation and VAT and these kind of things. So we have an individual who advises, and I also consult with an external lawyer on international business regulation, and then we'll adhere to it. So we always try and stay compliant. and we never deviate in the way that we shouldn't be deviating from as far as the law is concerned.
So, sir, after your faithful journey and rich experiences, you have built your success story. So, the meaning of success is not strange to you. How can you define success?
That's a really tough question. I think success for everybody is different. Some people will measure in wealth, some people will measure in happiness, some people would measure in assets and cars and property and this kind of stuff.
It's subjective.
It's very subjective, of course. I think for me, really dealing with our partners, and when they continuously keep calling us back and saying, Ahsan, we did this with you, it was great, I want to work on this. I think that's how I measure success. It's not the material elements in life. You know, Allah, He'll give you something and He can take it away. So for me, I think it's really more about the success the successful feedback I get from our partners. That's really where I feel satisfied, because I also understand if they're not satisfied, I will not do business with them tomorrow.
Lots of people from audience, they are a new generation and they see from your story something special inspired them. So what is your advice to the new generation?
I think for any young entrepreneur or for the younger generation, I think they're in a very unique scenario. In my time, there was no internet, there was no social media, there was no YouTube. And to do any kind of research, you had to open a book and read. You know, this was the scenario then. And obviously now what the situation is that information is available at their fingertips through digitization. I think my first advice would be is to make sure that you have a very clear plan. Your idea, whether it's delivering some IT solution, or whether you're looking at doing some kind of retail operation, or you want to do something in the e-commerce space, or whatever is your passion. You really need to have a clear plan. You need to think about exactly what you want and what you want to achieve. The second thing is you need to put together an analysis. You call it a SWOT analysis, or however you describe it, on your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and your threats, and research that thoroughly. Understand the competition. If you're working in a space where you feel that it's an open area, it's going to need a lot of time and investment for people to gain traction with that. But the most important thing I would say is you need to be really happy in what you do. You need to be committed in what you need to do. And with every failure, there's lots of success. I made a lot of mistakes during my career, and I learned from every single one of them. And I vowed to myself that I would never make that mistake again. And this has been the core value that I've worked on. And the most important thing, as I mentioned before, is hard work and dedication. It will pay its dividends. If you believe and you're prepared to commit the time, you can achieve and deliver whatever you want.
The UAE has for sure contributed to your success story. So what is your appreciation message you would like to convey through our episode to the UAE and its rulers?
I would say, obviously, I would express my sincere appreciation, gratitude to the rulers of the UAE. I think with their visionary leadership and their understanding of making the UAE an international hub, this has made the UAE's core backbone so strong. And people not only visit the UAE because they want to come on vacation, but when they do, they fall in love with the country and the cities, of course. And I think this will not happen, even from a business point of view, if doing business in the UAE was filled with bureaucracy and difficult challenges to start your business operation. And in the UAE, it's so easy. And again, I'd extend my appreciation to the rulers of the UAE, because without your vision, it just wouldn't be possible. And I extend my appreciation and thanks for that.
Thank you so much, sir. It was my pleasure talking with you today. Best of luck.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. It's appreciation to you and to your team, and thank you for extended your time and invitation to meet me today. It's really appreciated.
Dear audience, this is the end of our episode. Watch us next week. Goodbye.